Hey everybody, this is Rory McDonald from MacDon and Associates coming to you with the next episode of Tuesdays with Rory. I have some special guests in the studio, Kevin Costa and Mike Evekoff. They are local realtors. You guys run the brick and mortar team through EXP. And even more so jumping into what it is you guys have created, which is this beautiful restaurant in downtown Utica known as Host Utica. Is it just Host or is it Host Utica?
The building's Host.
Okay.
To the public, it's Host Utica.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So what led to that? You guys are a couple of realtors selling houses and businessmen and entrepreneurs. What led to you guys going, hey, let's go and let's open up a restaurant? What led to that?
Kind of like a crazy idea I had. So, I personally always grew up in the hospitality industry and always loved meeting customers and learning about food cultures. My wife and I have been fortunate to travel to Europe quite a bit before we had children. So to break bread with people from all different backgrounds is always a passion of ours. And Kevin and I have had our fair share of memorable meals together, and we've traveled together. So I owned a food truck for a period of time with a buddy from high school, and got pretty involved downtown before downtown became what it is now.
Yeah. It's hard to have a food truck downtown nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I met a lot of good, generous people in the industry down there. And I wanted to bring it back out this way. Took a little hiatus, had a couple kids with my wife, and now we're in the position to extend that same generosity to other people in the hospitality industry. So I was able to convince Kevin and our other partner Jeremy in this concept where we would basically merge both of our loves of real estate and hospitality into one space.
Wow.
And Host was created.
I love it. I love it. So getting into that a little bit too, one of the things that I learned, and this is just in the last week, because I came to Host for the first time. You know that you got 3 kids too, right?
Yes.
And you got a couple kiddos, and it's, dude, maneuvering family.
All boys, everybody.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Well, you guys
5
have
boys between us.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
No girls.
Yeah. I don't know whether to say congratulations or God bless you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we'll find out.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But one of the things that when we were sitting down and chatting just about what it is that Host is and what you guys are doing with that, revolved around the revolving door of cooks or not cooks. I shouldn't say cooks. Chefs that you guys have that come in and prepare the food. That's always changing. What's the heart behind that? What's the reason behind that?
We want more food options out here selfishly. This area is very fast food and chain driven, and doesn't really cater to the mom and pop restaurant spaces. One, because the cost of real estate on Hall Road is super expensive, and this area has a lot of shopping plazas.
Sure.
So we love to go downtown and eat. We love to go to the Royal Oaks, Ferndales, Birmingham's to go out to eat. But now that we have kids, it's not as feasible as it once was, and getting a babysitter is sometimes difficult and expensive now too.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
And so we said, let's kind of incubate that talent into this space in hopes that these chefs come here and then open up their own spot in the Macomb County-ish area.
Yeah.
So we have other local options to go to.
I love it. So the idea is come in, cook, let people get to know your food with the intent of now you have enough of a following for people for you to have a platform when you open up your own place.
Absolutely. I think the whole essence of the building is driven on small business investment in our area. That's really what gets me excited and kind of that's why, when Michael brought it to us, I think that's what made so much sense to me, because we want to see our area grow. Being an East Sider my whole life, there really is no true downtown area.
Right.
So to have a restaurant, that brings in top talent. I mean, you have someone from right now, our chef Mark Kamai is one of the best restaurateurs or chefs in the area. After winning, 2021 Restaurant of the Year at She-Wolf. So we're bringing out talent that, previously hasn't made its way out here. or it has, but it's in a very small, it's not as common.
Right.
So, I think part of where it all started was it's all weird how it's all intertwined with EXP, but we went out and visited Chuck Fazio, who is an EXP agent in some capacity or two capacities, but we visited his building, which kind of was a very similar multi-use building where he had a cafe, he had a teaching area, he had offices, which I think kind of started to get Michael's creative mind flowing as far as his experience, and then how we could interweave that with us. So.
Right. Which actually is interesting, because if you don't, for those of you who are listening who just don't know, Chuck Fazio is a very well-known EXP agent, not in Arizona, not in Michigan, but quite honestly around the United States.
Correct.
And the accessibility of Chuck Fazio and being able to just ask him questions and how he built his team, his heart behind building his team and what it is he's trying to create is pretty amazing, which also goes into kind of what you guys have created. My experience first time walking in, from the moment that I walked in, it felt like I was being hosted. Like it's a play on your name. I'm sure that's part of the reason why you guys named it Host. But from the moment that I walked in, it seemed like everybody who walked in the restaurant was excited to be there. And I mean the people who are eating the food. Everybody was really excited. They wanted to see what the next dish that came out, and ask questions. What is that? Like what is that? So. Being able to see that, and then also my experience with your staff, it's very rare with where we live, with it being a very chain restaurant driven place, where you walk in and you can tell from the moment you walk in the door, the hostess doesn't want to be to work. She doesn't want to be there. The cooks in the back look miserable. They're all yelling. You know what I mean? Like that experience was not at Host for me. It seemed like everybody was really excited to be there. Everybody had a smile on their face. Everybody was excited to be at work. And it seems like you guys have done a really great job. It's probably not just you, but the people you bring on, of creating a culture of one that wants to be at work, is excited to be at work. Can you speak to that a little bit as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, the chef in the kitchen they are their own small business. The brunch chef is a different small business than the dinner chef. So they have a real sense of ownership in their food process and the product they put out. They're responsible for all the food costs, all their back of house staff. So Host is hosting several small businesses in one building. Our staff, our front of house staff. So Host is responsible for all the front of house staff. And I pay them differently than any restaurant around here. It kind of learned from EXP, the revenue share model. I do the same with my front of house staff.
Okay.
They get paid revenue share. So instead of like a low hourly wage, I take 30% of the revenue retained by Hosts, and I give it back to the staff, and the amount they get is based on their hours worked.
Wow.
So yeah, they're making real money at our spot, and I could be like many restaurateurs and just pocket it myself. But I think it contributes to a happier staff, or hopefully translates into better service and more ownership of the space itself.
Yeah.
I think the whole overarching feeling when you walk into the building is it's a feeling of opportunity, right? So not only do we have the restaurant on the first floor, our second floor is an event space and a co-work space for hopefully to drive small business investment throughout our area. Everyone who, and it's funny because one of our first chefs had said this and it's really stuck with me, if you look at it like a job or just somewhere to be, it's not that. Like, that is not anything to do with our building.
Yeah.
Once you come in those doors, there's an energy about it that you can truly feel. And I mean, it's not just the first floor, it carries all the way up to our mezzanine, right? So it's people who are all like-minded individuals, from the entrepreneur chef in the kitchen to how Michael incentivizes the hostess. I mean, everyone's on the same team working towards a common goal, which when you have something like that, it's something special. It's something that can't really be recreated. So I truly, it's something that kind of gives you the chills, when you think about it a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah.
It comes back to that ownership piece. Like people
Correct.
literally, it sounds like people literally have what feels like an ownership in making sure that the environment is positive, is good.
I mean, it's like I said, I don't have a fixed overhead cost. It's basically like being a real estate broker. It's commission based in a way. The more the restaurant makes, the more you make. The less the restaurant makes, the less you make. So if you want to make a lot of money, then you have to put the effort into this place.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Coming back to the EXP side of things, I wanted to touch on this too. It seems like it was a pretty crazy story in a lot of ways, and I'm sure God had a lot to do with it as well, which, touch on that as well. I want people to hear that side of it, I'm sure. But how did your relationships within EXP, obviously you talked about the Chuck Fazio side of things, the revenue side of things, like that side of it, but how else and what other ways has EXP really led you guys in a position to being able to start a second business, a second source of income, and a second opportunity for the local community to have a place, to have a spot? How did that piece work in as well?
Well, I mean, EXP, I feel like it caters to the real estate agent / broker that wants to that's business minded. Where, you could just camp at a bigger box brokerage and use their space and do fine business, but you kind of handicapped in a way. So we joined EXP. We were originally starting to think of doing our own brokerage because we all did well in real estate. We all have our broker's licenses. But then we looked at EXP's setup, and I said, let's go in this direction. There's less liability, and I feel like we get the freedom to do exactly what we would do if we went on our own. So we did that, and we were one of the early adopters and took advantage of the stock option program that they have, and as a result, we gained a good amount of equity in that way, and because of that, we were able to purchase this building, and in it 1.5 million. And honestly, none of that money came out of our personal bank accounts. It's all through EXP.
Yeah, we we haven't recruited. Typically EXP has a large recruitment following, and that's not gonna lie. We left Real Estate One after being there for about 5 years. Had a great relationship with the Elsie family. They were very sad to see us go, and EXP was newer on the block at that time. Less than when we joined, it was less than
9,000, 8,000 agents.
Yeah,
I think
now we're up to 68,000, something like that. It's crazy.
So I think we got enamored originally, as some people would, with the recruiting aspect. It made a lot of sense. It looked lucrative on paper, but the way we do business isn't. I don't know. We had not trouble, but just we're not reaching out on the phone and hey, you need to leave Keller Williams to come over to EXP because it's so much better. It's the way we do business is more free flowing, conversational. If it makes sense, great. If not, I'm not going to pressure you.
Yeah.
So, but the move, even we left behind what would have been a great deal at Real Estate One. They threw a fair amount of, opportunities at us, different things to help our business grow. And as Michael said, we kind of just looked at it and we're like, well, we might as well try it. Worst case scenario, we can go back, right?
Sure.
So the stock options were huge. They were instrumental in being able to purchase the building. It helped offset the cost of our down payment. The building's been extensively renovated, and most of that is done, or all of it was done on the back of our real estate business.
Yeah.
Like Michael said, personally, we didn't have much to put into the building. So,
right.
And it's mysterious how everything kind of worked out. Where we joined, our business grew. We, even as when we first joined, we partnered with builders, and just getting it took off in a pretty cool way that allowed us to get to where we are today. And you said God, how did God interweave in that? Michael is, I think, more religious or spiritual than I am.
Sure.
But I know everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And it's so odd how even things, to date, something will seemingly go wrong, but it's a blessing, after the fact.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's been just great to kind of see what comes our way and how it just develops. And it's a project that I mean, it's so cool to be involved in. I mean,
Sure.
The restaurant is his baby. But just to be there and be able to go eat and have a sense of community to say, hey, we have this here, come check us out. It's cool, so
Yeah.
We're not cold callers. I mean, that's not how we build our business. Like
Right.
It's all referral based. And, like, how can we reach, increase our sphere of influence in a more organic way? Like, people like to talk over food and drink, and
Sure.
hopefully through getting to know us, they want to learn more, and maybe some real estate relationships will evolve out of that, or even with the co-working space on the second floor, building a relationship with other entrepreneurs.
right.
There may be an opportunity to diversify our investments through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I think hearing, the story of how it is that this all came to be is encouraging. It's encouraging for me, being able to see what you guys have created. Like I said, coming back to the culture and the community. When I say community, I mean you're taking care of your community, giving them ownership in the company, raising up other local businesses, other local chefs, with the intent of having them get out of your restaurant
Right.
to start new restaurants, which most people look at that and go, competition. No. It's about the community. It's not about us, right?
Everybody's asked that. They go, what if you get some rock star chef, and why would you just not keep them? Right now, that's kind of what everybody's been telling me. Like Mark Tamai in there is killing it, and they're like, why don't you just keep him? And just, I'm like, that's not the mission behind this place. Like, I love him, and maybe there's an opportunity for us to invest in him outside of this building, but this building specifically is meant to foster other restaurants outside of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And there's, you hear it in real estate too. Everybody's like, oh, he's your competition, or they're your competition. It's like, there's enough business for everybody. And
Yeah.
if you think that, if you think you lose because they win, you lose, then you have the wrong mentality. Like, you can both win.
Very short-sighted.
Yeah.
It's very short-sighted. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, not everybody eats Italian food every single night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody eats Chinese food every night. So, like, if Mark Tamai, if he opens up an Italian restaurant right across the street from me, I want him to do well because I want the whole downtown area to do well. But, like,
Right.
not everybody's going to eat Italian food every single night. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So,
Sure. Yeah.
um,
It's true, but I think other people, community-wise, those who are going out to eat on a regular basis, right? I think people, and you guys are probably seeing this too, I think people will get behind your mission, right? Like, oh my gosh, I see you have a revolving door of chefs, not to promote host, but to promote the chef. Mm-hmm. Yes, I will go to that. Heck yes. If it leads to more restaurants being in our area that I can take my wife out to, yes, 100%. You guys need to come up to Richmond, though, because we got there's a Tim Hortons and a mom and pop breakfast place.
That's
we
right.
need some places up there. But yeah, no, this is amazing stuff. Is there anything else that you guys really would love to kind of dig into before we wrap this up?
well, I'd just say that we see downtown Utica as kind of like the gateway between the east side and the west side. I kind of want to slogan that and make it Utica's phrase. But yeah, we're all about seeing everybody do well. I mean, we have people come to our restaurant, and we have a reservation policy that we try to respect so other people can dine with us in a promptly fashion. And I'm like, hey, why don't you go grab a glass of wine across the street? We got Vibes across the street. We got a couple other establishments down there. Like, I'm like encouraging for people to walk across the street or walk down another couple doors, because I want everybody to do well.
For sure.
Yeah, ideally this building isn't the only thing in downtown Utica, right? And it's not right now. But ideally it grows into some of the other communities that we talked about, Rochester, Royal Oak, Birmingham.
Yeah.
Because there's such a captive audience out in our area. In North Macomb County, it's a ton of families who don't necessarily want to drive, or not even families, couples who don't want to drive 45 minutes to go downtown.
Yeah.
But we're hopefully providing a downtown experience, especially this coming summer. You know, I'm really excited to see, we opened kind of on the tail end of the summer. I'm super excited to see what the spring and summer brings. You know, I'd love to see more development down in Utica. Love to see like an ice cream shop or a cookie store. We have a vacancy next door. So, you know, anyone who's listening who owns a Crumble or wants to own a Crumble or a Detroit Cookie Company, come on.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So
It's the one
Cookies
thing missing.
chain though, man.
I don't care. It's fine.
That's complete opposite.
Yeah, what's crumble spelled backwards?
Right.
Yeah, put that next door, right? But no, this is awesome. So people who are out there who might want to learn more about Host, what's the address where you guys are located? I'll put that on the tag here too, but what's the address where you guys are located?
7759 Auburn Road.
Okay.
Utica, Michigan.
Right in downtown Utica. So from what I remember too, is it the old Hatchie's building?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's the most famous rendition of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. It was Brick House at one time, Club O2.
Danny J's.
Back when it was built, it was a Ben Franklin 5 and Dime. So
Okay.
It's a cool building. It's been standing since 1901. I'm becoming a history nerd in my old, you know, I'm a father now, so I have to pick like my nerdy thing.
Yeah.
Trying to get a lineage on the building. It's pretty neat. It survived there's been like, I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 fires that have decimated Utica. So that building's one of the ones that survived most of those fires. So it's a neat historic building. Most definitely.
It definitely is. You guys in the decoration side of it too. I could talk about the building for a long time. I love real estate. So, but no, that's awesome. If people are trying to follow some of the things, the changes that are happening within, you guys announced new cooks, I think, that are coming up too.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram, host_Utica. We have our website, hostutica.com, that you can see the future schedule of chefs coming up. We have a Facebook as well.
Yep.
Yeah, check us out there. That's the best way to contact us. hostutica@gmail.com if you have any inquiries about chefing it up there, or a small business that wants to be a part of our co-work space.
Heck yeah.
Or it's a private event space too upstairs.
Right. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So for those of you other local business owners who it might be just you and you need to get out of the house because you have 3 kids, like kids in your house are running around and you just need space. There's space up there that you guys have that you rent out, private office space and like kind of like a community working space.
Correct. Yeah.
And then I think what was the event that was taking place when I was there?
There was a real estate mastermind there when you had come. Yep. I know you've done them downstairs, but we've done bridal showers, baby showers. We have inquiries for first birthdays. I mean, the building's a large building and it can be flexed. We designed it in a way where it can be flexed to really use that space for whatever your imagination can think up. So
I love it. So definitely check these guys out. Head to downtown Utica, go get some food from there. Have a good time at Host Utica. All the things that you guys will have an awesome experience. That's for sure. I don't need to talk anymore about it. But thank you guys so much for joining us today on Tuesdays with Rory. Thankful for you guys. We'll catch you next week, but have a very blessed day. See ya.